Hello, Degens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes. I, of course, am the Brofix one, AJ, here with some more LIV Golf news today. LIV has been absolutely going bananas, whether it's signing players, talking to announcers, and now talking about a new way to do golf. Obviously, LIV started with this shotgun format. Team format and everything like that, only playing 3 rounds and all of that. So they have made changes to already the game of golf, but now looking to completely change it up even more. Being reported by Sports Illustrated's Alex Michelli, LIV Golf future plans include relegation and a qualifying tournament. Now, for those of us out here in the U.S., we're not familiar with relegation because that is a very popular thing in soccer where they have these different leagues. You have the highest league, and then essentially if you lose so much, you get bumped down to the next one. LIV is looking at doing the exact same thing, and they have the format all out and everything already. And this is kind of interesting, I will say. So I'll run through it for you real quick. The bottom 4 players at the end of the next season, it will not be this season, it will start in the 2023 season. So at the end of the 2023 season, we'll get our first relegation event, promotion event, excuse me. But the bottom 4 players in points from the tournament will be relegated out of the league, essentially. And then 4 more will be brought in through a promotion event that will be held also at the end of the season. We'll get into a little bit more on the promotion event in a minute. But this is crazy to me because it makes sense. The relegation does make sense, I will say. It is to keep the player pool nice and fresh, and so you get some new faces in there, new competition. It works for soccer. It really does. It, adds an extra element of excitement to the league and adds an extra element of stress to some games and some excitement because especially if you're one of those bottom teams, you want to see your team win more than anything. You really don't want to see them lose, but you really don't want to see them get relegated down a league. And so LIV obviously trying to make that type of a connection between its viewers that there are and its golfers in general. Now, I know what you're thinking because I'm thinking the same thing too when I started reading this. What about, Phil? What about DeChambeau? What about all those guys, Kepkas and everyone else? What about them? They're getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars to play on this tour. So you're telling me that if they're in the bottom 4, they're going to get relegated? That's not what I'm saying, and that's not what LIV is saying either. Does say here that some players may receive exempts, kind of like the tour does it, and so that they can't get relegated, or they're just grandfathered in essentially. They do go on to say that if they're a captain of a team or they own part of the team, they may still be involved in the team and all the decisions and everything like that, like a regular manager. I'll do a video later on the LIV Golf team stuff because I'm still confused as hell on that as well. That's crazy though. This is insane because you haven't seen anything like this in golf. And then when I get into who's going to be playing in the promotion events and everything, you're going to be like, "Oh, so this is how they're going to try to get all these young guys and everything." Cuz I was flabbergasted. Essentially, the players that are going to be eligible to play are going to be numbers 2 through 32. I'll pull it up. Sorry for you, DJs. There we go. Numbers 2 through 32 on the money list from the International Series, part of the Asian Tour. Major winners from the last 5 years. Reigning amateur champions. U.S., British, Latin American, Asian Pacific, and the NCAA champion. The college champion of golf is exempt to play a part of the promotion. Whew. I mean, now we're talking about college golfers potentially making the same, if not more, money than professional football, professional basketball, professional baseball players coming out of college. LIV is really going all out there, and then it continues on. Top 75 in the official World Golf Rankings, PGA Tour and DP World Tour winners from the previous year, any relegated player from LIV Golf in the last 2 years, and members of the last Ryder Cup or Presidential Cup teams. if you have the time, go over to Sports Illustrated and read this article by Alex. It is a damn good read. He does cover everything really in depth, a little bit more than I am. But that's a lot of players. And that's a big pool to pull from. Obviously, just because they're exempt does not mean that they will play in the tournament. Everyone does get a choice in that. So I'm not saying we'll see the NCAA champion go into the tournament. But with that big of a paycheck, I mean, for a 23, 22-year-old kid, I don't know what I would have done in that situation. I really don't know. I can't tell you. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's life-changing money. That's insane. LIV Golf is doing that. So now let's get into the promotion event, because that is something that's a completely different beast than something I've seen in a long time, especially when it comes to a golf tournament. They break it up by the rounds, and so in the first 18 holes, number 6 through 32 in the International Series money list, and contracted team sub-players, so meaning team players that are in LIV Golf, they're on a team, but they're substitutes just in case someone can't make it, someone gets sick or whatever. They're eligible to play then for full membership, I would assume. And the top 20 from that first day, those first 18 holes, will move on to the second round to really cut. I'm sorry, the top 20 will move on after those first 18 holes to really, cut down the field and move into day two. Going into day two, you'll have those first round top 20. You'll have any relegated players. So those 4 players that were relegated at the end of the season will start in round 2. Number 2 through 5 from the International Series. So those top positions will get a little bit of a break and not have to play in that huge field on day number 1. And then players who finish 25 through 44 on points and not not contracted by any team or by the league at that point. So maybe, they bring a guy in for, a trial run or something like that. He made a splash, but he hasn't made that contract yet. Those 25 through 44 on points, if they're not contracted, can then go in and play and try to get a spot. After that, it will cut down to 16 for the last 2 days. Yes, this will be a 4-day event by LIV Golf. Which is interesting to me, because their whole thing was the 54 holes and everything. And if you're trying to get relegated into LIV, I mean, yeah, I guess if you're just counting those last 3 days, sure. I mean, yeah, but I don't know, because the score resets after the first 2 days. So then you're playing 0-0. You're playing half of a regular tour. I mean, yeah, that's going to be tough. But yeah, the top 16 will get there. What does that say? I can't even read my own writing, but yeah. And then the top 3 that qualify, the top 3 scores at the end of the second day, at the end of the last day, the 4th day, will qualify for the tour. I mean, LIV really wanted to go out there and change the golf game. They've done that monetarily. They've done that with the system and how they do teams and how they do golf in general with the 54 holes shotgun start. And I mean, yeah, this is new. This is LIV Golf. I mean, it's very interesting to see what's going on. Again, we do have an event coming out this weekend in New Jersey at Bedminster. The Pro-Am will be Thursday. We will be keeping an eye on that because Charles Barkley may have a deal in hand there. But who knows? We will find out. Thank you for listening and watching. If you did enjoy and want more LIV content, please like, share, and subscribe down below. Help us fight that YouTube algorithm. And, of course, you can follow us on the Twitter at DGenTakes for the show, myself at Brofict1. And we have merch now. If you want a dope hat like this, prove you're a DGen, you go ahead and you click on the link down below. With that being said, I've been the Brofict1 AJ, and we'll see you next time on Degenerate Takes.